Tonight on Cronkite News, former President Donald Trump makes another stop in the Valley, with less than 2 weeks until the general election.
Plus, beating the extreme heat in Phoenix was a challenge this year. How the city of Phoenix helped those in need and what can be done to help more next year.
And the Austin Gamblers have won the 2024 Professional Bull Riders Team Championship. We have more about the Bulls, who are recognized as athletes in this sport. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Ryan Pesesnik.
And I'm Keith Hall. Thank you for joining us. We are currently 12 days away from the November 5th election, and Arizona is once again in the spotlight.
The candidates and their surrogates are making stops across our state to win over undecided voters. And for good reason. According to a poll conducted by Marist College of likely Arizona voters, it's still a very tight race. Former President Donald Trump is slightly in the lead with 50%, and Vice President Kamala Harris is at 49%. With 1% saying they will vote for another candidate. The margin of error for the poll is nearly 4%, which means it is effectively a toss-up. Former President Trump made his 5th visit to the state since June today, with a stop at ASU's Mullet Arena.
The former president was joined by a number of national and local politicians in an hours-long rally. Our reporter Sam Dayton was on the Tempe campus to capture the reactions of supporters. He joins us now from the newsroom.
Yeah, thanks, Keith. While Donald Trump's visit brought out loyal supporters to ASU, it wasn't quite a full house. But those who did attend were vocal that their beliefs of Trump being the best option for America. Doors to Mullet Arena opened at 10 a.m., with many supporters arriving well beforehand to secure their spots and pick up merchandise sold by local vendors. The rally, which started at 2 p.m., saw a steady stream of attendees throughout the morning and early afternoon. Headliners such as Vivek Ramaswamy, Marco Rubio, and Carrie Lake spoke to an almost packed Mullet Arena. Supporters were enthusiastic, waving signs and donning "Make America Great Again" hats. Still, many expressed their concerns about the state of the country.
I mean, the most important thing, I think, right now is that we're on such a tipping point that America hasn't ever been in before, where common sense is just not common anymore. Some of the stuff out there is just absolutely insane and ridiculous. And I've been around 6 decades, so I know what it was like 20, 30, 40 years ago. And we're in a dangerous place right now.
During his speech, the former president talked a lot about immigration and what he said were failed border policies that he blamed on Kamala Harris. In the newsroom, Sam Dayton, Cronkite News.
The former president will be back in Arizona next week at the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale. He will be joined by former Fox News host Tucker Carlson for what's being billed as a hurricane relief benefit.
And we learned today Vice President Harris will make a stop in Arizona on Thursday of next week. But tomorrow she's holding a rally in Houston. And according to the Associated Press, she'll be joined on stage by Beyonce, though the Harris campaign has not yet confirmed this. As you may know, Houston is Beyonce's hometown.
Meanwhile, her pick for VP, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, will be visiting Arizona on Saturday. This marks his 2nd official trip to Arizona, his first being earlier this month. Details of his visit have yet to be released, but we do know he will be visiting Las Vegas afterwards. We are also getting a visit from former President Joe Biden this week.
He will make a stop in town tomorrow. President Biden will give a speech at the Gila River Indian community. The president is expected to apologize to victims and their relatives who suffered abuse at native boarding schools. This comes after a federal initiative that investigated the abuse at hundreds of schools in the 19th and early 20th centuries. Thousands of children were taken from their homes during this time and sent to native boarding schools. President Biden talked about the reason behind his visit to Arizona today at the White House.
I'm heading to do something that should have been done a long time ago. Make a formal apology to the Indian nations for the way we treated their children for so many years. That's why I'm going, that's why I'm heading west.
A person has been arrested after a mailbox with more than a dozen ballots inside was burned overnight. The box was located at the post office near 7th Avenue and Indian School Road in Phoenix. It's not clear who started the fire, but we do know 20 ballots were damaged. Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego announced the arrest of a suspect today on Twitter.
Mayor Gallego also talked about the record-breaking temperatures we saw across the valley this past summer.
Cronkite News reporter Ignacio Ventura tells us how the city of Phoenix is addressing these challenging conditions.
Record-breaking heat was part of one of the hot summers. This year, over 400 people have died as a result of heat-related illnesses. The number of deaths under investigation in 2024 is higher than it was at this point last year. City authorities say they work to provide navigation services for those experiencing homelessness.
I don't know how the states are with their emergency shelters or anything like that, but the library and having resources at the library, I believe that's a good idea.
Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego says the intense heat also extends beyond the city's municipal boundaries.
Every community should have good access to overnight facilities. Power outages could happen anywhere in the valley, and people face evictions and other challenges throughout the valley.
Gallego warns that money obtained from federal funds to create beds and respite sites is going down. The plan included cooling sensors and the distribution of water supplies.
I am very proud to report that these efforts have made a significant impact. By proactively addressing the needs of our community, we have seen a notable decrease in heat-related emergency incidents.
The number of heat-related deaths has not been finalized. In Phoenix, Ignacio Ventura, Cronkite News.
The Diamondbacks are out of the World Series, but Arizona will still be representing.
That's because a Tucson homegrown outfielder for the Yankees will be competing in his first World Series. Alex Verdugo has a chance to beat the team who traded him years ago. More on that after the break.
Plus, it's been an awfully warm week, but cooler weather is finally in the forecast. Find out when after this quick break.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X at @CutASU.
The Yankees and Dodgers will face off in Game 1 of the World Series tomorrow. Performing on baseball's biggest stage is a dream to many players, but only a few get to achieve. For Yankees outfielder Alex Verdugo, he will get the opportunity to play in the Fall Classic and represent his roots here in Arizona. I had a chance to speak with Verdugo and his family about what this moment means for them.
Surreal moments, I guess, even just leading up to here. I mean, we were just trying to get through the playoffs, and those moments were crazy. But even in his younger years, it was like that even at the tournaments. And, it's that feeling.
Yankees outfielder Alex Verdugo grew up in Tucson, where he attended Saguaro High School. Upon graduation, he signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He would spend 3 seasons in Dodger blue before being traded to the Red Sox. This past offseason, Verdugo was traded to the Yankees, where the team has made their first World Series appearance since 2009, and now playing his former team.
To be in the World Series is, man, it's a dream come true. Everybody dreams of this as a kid, and I think for us, it's just we're close, but not quite there yet.
While Verdugo will be representing his hometown of Tucson in the Fall Classic, he will also get a chance to honor his family, who have helped him get to this point, especially his mother, who was battling cancer but is now cancer-free.
Alex takes that very seriously. I mean, he is, like I said, he's very emotional. So I'm trying to be really careful. I don't want him to be stressing out over that.
At the end of the day, family's always there. And, for me, it's, with my mom, my dad, my brothers, sisters, and then, now with, my kids, my girl, and the family that I've started now with on my own, is just, family really means everything to me.
At least 20 members of Verdugo's family will be there to support him in Game 1 in Los Angeles. He only gets 6 for free. According to Axios, the average ticket price on Vivid seats sell for nearly $1,400, which is close to double the amount of last year's World Series.
Back here in the Valley, cooler temperatures are finally on the way, just in time for Halloween. Aiden Hansen joins us from the Cronkite Weather Center with our forecast.
Thanks, Keith, and for those of you just tuning in, here's your evening planner for tonight. It's going to be a calm 84 degrees at about 8 p.m. and then all the way down to 79 degrees at 10 p.m. So if you want to go for a nice little evening stroll, I would go right ahead. And fortunately for us living in Arizona, it's going to be even cooler, 67 degrees in Phoenix, right around 3 and 4 a.m. Within the high country, we got Window Rock and Grand Canyon at 32 and 31 degrees. But unfortunately for us, it's still going to get pretty hot. A 31-degree increase in Phoenix, but with Gila Bend and Tucson both taking the cake at 99 degrees as the hottest cities in the state tomorrow. But we're not the only ones feeling the heat. Pretty much the entire lower half of the lower 48 is going to be feeling the heat. 85 degrees in Las Vegas, 86 in El Paso, and 88 in Dallas, with Phoenix still coming in first at 98 degrees. But why is it so hot? Well, we have a low pressure system in this region of the United States right here. It's going to be keeping our temperatures above normal, and fortunately that's going to dissipate right around next Tuesday. And for those of you in Arizona, for your 8-day forecast, we got 100 degrees and 97 degrees on Saturday and Sunday. And finally, it's going to be dipping into the 70s on next Tuesday, 75 degrees. And for those of you going trick-or-treating, 79 degrees on Thursday. Sounds like a great time to do it. This has been the Cronkite Weather Report. Back to you guys.
Coming up next, Tua Tagovailoa looks to return this Sunday against the Cardinals.
But there are questions surrounding his return. After the break, what the football community is saying about the QB's return after his 3rd concussion.
Three, 2, 1. Cronkite News. Get real professional experience in areas such as reporting, broadcast editing, and behind-the-scenes production, such as technical director and audio.
Kill the mics.
Or go out in the field and cover important local stories.
Learn and master the English language
in a fun, welcoming atmosphere. Cronkite News. The future starts now.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
2, 1.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X at @CutASU.
I'm Shai Bradley with the Cronkite Sports Report. NBA basketball is finally back. The Phoenix Suns season opener took place in Inglewood, California at the brand new state-of-the-art arena against the Los Angeles Clippers. The Suns' big three came through behind the arc, including Book's 4 3-pointers. Despite the Suns' lights-out shooting, the Clippers had a chance to win in regulation, But at the end of overtime, Grayson Allen came through with a clutch steal to seal the game, 116 to 113. The Suns will stay on the West Coast for their game against the Los Angeles Lakers tomorrow. The 2024 World Series is headed back to LA for the first time since 2018 in a battle of blue bloods. The Los Angeles Dodgers and New York Yankees hold the best records in their respective leagues and will begin their clash in Los Angeles as Dodgers fans are looking to win more than just a championship. The matchup of East versus West is highlighted with star power, with 5 former league MVPs taking the field, and the first World Series to feature 2 players who have hit 50 or more home runs during the regular season, between the Dodgers' Shohei Ohtani and the Yankees' Aaron Judge. The off-the-field news of legendary Dodgers pitcher Fernando Valenzuela passing away this Tuesday has ignited emotion across Dodger fans who want the Dodgers to win for Valenzuela, the same pitcher who helped beat the Yankees the last time the teams met in the 1981 Fall Classic.
This is incredible timing. It's divine timing. You know, I think it's going to tell people, I mean, people feel like you got to win this for Fernando. You know, Shotani, the parallels between both of them, and like someone who comes from outside this country, who brings all their power, might, and you know, and talent. And it's just a perfect time for Latinos to come together, and Angelinos to come together, and to see that we are winners, you know, like.
Tomorrow will definitely be an emotional day at Dodger Stadium, with first pitch for Game 1 set for 5:08 local time. This is going to be one World Series that you don't want to miss. The Cardinals head to Miami to take on the Dolphins on Sunday. Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is expected to make his return to the field after sitting out several weeks with a concussion. His case and whether or not he should retire has been a hot debate this season. Kayla Marinway reports on if the NFL should regulate player safety even more.
A shoulder to the head, a player's head hitting the ground, helmets clashing together. Football is a collision sport that could result in serious injuries, like concussions. But when is enough enough?
When you're playing the game, you understand the risks that are involved. However, you're playing it because you're passionate about it. This is a game, but you're also talking about the game of life.
Football isn't everything. You still have so much life to live when your football career is done. But at the same time, you understand why guys do what they do and play the game.
Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa was diagnosed with his 3rd concussion of his NFL career this season. A routine play where Tua lowered his shoulder to initiate contact forced his arm into an unnatural position and triggered the injury.
The hit that Tua took was, I mean, that's a hit that happens every week, every Saturday for college, every Sunday on a football game.
In 2023, the NFL reported 219 concussions that were diagnosed during the NFL preseason and regular season. NFL protocol mandates that if a player is observed or reports one of the no-go symptoms, they are removed from the game and will not be allowed to return. The no-go symptoms were updated after Tua suffered a concussion against the Cincinnati Bengals in 2022. When a player is diagnosed with a concussion, they must be sidelined for at least 4 games per league rules. So, what are the steps to determine if a player has a concussion?
There's a list of 10 or 12 items. The big ones are slow to get up, motionless after hit, meaning they would be unconscious. If they grab their helmet, if they come off the field and their head towards the wrong sideline. All are items that we observe with players that have taken a hit. If they show those, then we have the ability to stop the game.
The overarching question circling the NFL community is whether the NFL should implement a rule that requires players to retire after a certain number of concussions.
I mean, everybody recovers from concussion differently, so it's hard to put a number on concussions and sit there and say there should be a limit or not.
There are things that you see with vicious hits that get people concussed, and those vicious hits are the ones that the NFL is trying to reduce on. The proper technique tackles, those are things that's unavoidable. So trying to police it all is very difficult to do.
And it's also difficult to convince players who've had multiple concussions to walk away from the game. As Tua said upon his return this week, quote, "I love this game and I love it to the death of me."
In Phoenix, Kayla Marinway, Cronkite News.
practice yesterday and will look to make his first start since Week 2 on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. The PBR Championships featured the Arizona Ridge Riders this past weekend in Vegas after ending the regular season at the Desert Diamond Arena for the Ridge Rider Days. Cronkite News reporter Kaylee Moncrief was there and has more on the athletes of the PBR.
When you think of the bulls on the professional bull riding tour, you might think that they're mean and aggressive. But what you probably didn't know is that when they're not competing, they're gentle giants who are trained to buck in the arena. PBR contractor Cord McCoy raises some of the top competitive bulls on his Oklahoma ranch, including the two-time world champion riding solo.
I think he knows his job, but you know, the rest of the time, you know, the other 6 days of the week, you know, he's just laid back and you know, like a big old puppy dog. He's just a big pet.
Now let's go. As a general rule, they're very calm when they're not competing. Just like any other athlete, when the lights are bright and their dander is up and they get excited, you know, they obviously perform their job.
These bulls are bred and trained to be top-notch competitors, but just like the riders, they have to qualify for a spot in the top level. The thing that sets the champions apart is their mindset.
And in the buck and bull business, you know, it's the ones that like it and enjoy it and then continue to get better and like, man, if I jump real high and I twist here and I kick there, you know, I can get that guy off the back and I can get the win. You know, it's the bulls that love to do it are the ones that are successful and go on.
These animals become fierce competitors who sometimes intimidate the riders.
Oh, there's a lot of bulls that they really like to get on, and there's a handful that they don't like to get on.
And just like any athlete, their trainers go to great lengths to ensure that they're healthy and competition ready.
The bulls have their knee specialists. I mean, they have their, you know, their health specialists, their nutritionists that come in there.
And their biggest support system are the people who raise them. And once the bulls are done competing, they get to enjoy retirement from the comfort of their own home.
And to retire those bucking bulls at the ranch and let them live out the rest of their life, it's pretty neat. I mean, they're part of our family.
In Phoenix, Kaylee Moncrief, Cronkite News.
Although the Arizona Ridge Riders did not take home the championship win, the PBR announced that they will be coming back to the Desert Diamond Arena next season for the Ridge Rider Days. After nearly 3 decades, the New York Liberty have won a WNBA championship. The Liberty celebrated after a 67-62 overtime win over the Minnesota Lynx. After 5 other finals appearances, the Liberty beat the Minnesota Lynx to become WNBA champions. The Liberty's win did not come without controversy. There was a debatable foul called late in the game against the Lynx that secured the win for the Liberty. The team celebrated with a parade this morning and will continue the festivities with a fan event at the Barclays Center tonight. That's it for the Cronkite Sports Report. Now back to Ryan and Keith at the desk.
Coming up next, sports collectors will be happy to hear that a legendary basketball jersey from the 90s will be on auction.
Yes, a jersey from one of the greatest to ever play the game will soon be available for purchase. After the break, learn more about the game-worn jersey that will be auctioned by Sotheby's, and it could go for millions of dollars.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
2, 1.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
Coming up on the cut.
How students can build their broadcast journalism portfolio with opportunities to learn more about on-air reporting and studio production.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and on X at @CutASU.
Fans of the NBA may be excited to know that a jersey of one of the greatest to ever play the game is now on auction.
That's right. Michael Jordan's game-worn jersey from his 1996 championship season is available for bidding. He wore the jersey during his 1996 to 97 championship season with the Chicago Bulls. The jersey appeared in at least 17 games and is one of only 2 red jerseys worn by Jordan that season. The jersey is currently valued at $4 to $6 million.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Ryan Posesnik.
And I'm Keith Hall. Thank you for joining us.
And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.